Hey, Chris Liepe here, and we're working with some Chris Daughtry samples today. I really enjoy Chris Daughtry's approach. He has a chest voice that is able to be aggressive and on the edge, while at the same time, he's able to come across as fairly laid back sounding. So it's not this in-your-face sound, it's this full, confident, accurate musical sound, but not too accurate and not overly confident. It's a really nice, balanced sound. He's got a great range, too. And nobody, myself included, is going to be able to sound like Chris Daughtry, but we can take much of what he does, dissect it, try to understand it, and put it into our own voices, into our own sound, much like a guitar player learning a lick that will never sound like the guitar player he's learning the lick from, but he's able to incorporate some of that lick into his own playing and make it his own. That's our goal with looking at these Chris Daughtry samples. So, join me for looking at 8 different little snippets from studio recordings of Chris Daughtry. Before we get into the first sample, if you'd like some help developing some of the things that I talk about in today's video and taking it to the next level and understanding the foundational impact that some of these things have, be sure to join my free vocal course linked below. I'll give you the tools necessary to approach the stuff that I do in this video safely, musically, and confidently, like Chris Daughtry approaches things. Here we go. So he's using quite a bit of air, but there's this laid-back approach like I was talking about before. Let's talk about his tone. I try to see the good in life. There's not this sense that he's going overboard. I try to see the good in life. Where you've heard a lot of certainly more aggressive singers, they're always singing sort of at the top of their energy level. He's got this nice middle of the road. He's not, I try to see the good. I try to see the good in life. But this is at the beginning of the song. His attentiveness to dynamics, while still being confident, is right there. Now, placement-wise, he's not, I try to see, he's in the middle. But he's forward. He's resonant. You can really hear the resonance in his voice. I talk about this in other videos, but it's this idea that we are placing our resonance with our minds. We are focusing on vibrations in our face. You can hear that as he approaches the mic, as his sound approaches the mic. Next. Part of his relaxed sort of sound is how he's pronouncing that word killing. It's not killing, it's kelling. But that allows him to be a little bit more open, a little bit more forward, and not deal with that feel. And it allows his voice to be a little darker. Is, even on the first is, it's not is, lower larynx, is killing me. You can hear just a little bit of breakup in what he's doing, especially on the top. That's coming from not pushing harder, but by adding a little bit more compression. And that is made easier for him to maintain that tone by not pronouncing those, is killing me. He's not doing that. It's much more killing me. And, you know, if you want to try to get there from speech and then take it into your singing and really unpack that, killing, you can't do the full you can't place it as much in your nose on those sounds. So bring it back, still resonate in your face, but we're not being nasal here, and we're opening up those I sounds. not killing me. It's not a true E either. Is killing me. Next. Now I've got him singing the same-ish words and phrase in regular sort of chest resonant sound, and then the next sample is him singing it an octave higher. So we're going to look at both of those. I'm flying through the air. I'm flying through the air. I'm flying. Feel that vibration sensation with the loose lips. I'm flying through the air. And then keep that sensation mentally as you start to add the words and phrases. That's going to get you that nice resonant forward sound. Of course, he's also got very well supported chest voice going on, which only comes about by that bearing down, dialed in support. I'm flying through the air. Notice, not I'm flying through the air or I'm flying through the air. Notice the air. No, I'm flying through the air. Confident. That articulation is able to be made and is able to be subtle and not pushed to because my support is constant. So here's him singing it low. Then high. Oh, going all the way up to that D5. So cool. So fun to experiment getting up to those levels. He's not, you hear a little bit of grit, but just a little bit. That high note, through the air, is actually quite clean. Through the air. And you hear him brighten up. It's buried a little bit in the recording, but you hear through is very much the goofy mix that I've talked about in other videos. Check out other videos I've done on the channel on mixed voice to really develop that sound. But when he gets up to that air, he goes back to that brighter, definitely mixed D5. And I love that. Oh, I'm flying through the air. Good stuff. There's also this element of percussion there. Oh, I'm flying through the air. His movement and his forcing of those consonants forward really helps in this particular setting. Oh, yeah. Get in the groove. Oh, I'm flying through the air. Yeah. Next. I'm not scared, no. Now, to really understand and feel what he might be feeling here, let's do this. Not but Feel the way that we're resonating in our face and in our tongue. We're not tensing anything. We're very relaxed. As soon as we start to tense things, we don't feel the vibration in our tongue or in our cheek. It actually, the intensity actually lowers and becomes part of our neck. So if we can be relaxed with our face, we get this vibration everywhere. That's going to come out in how our voice interacts with the mic. It's so true. We always sing into mics these days, right? Whether we're singing live, whether we're recording. And this idea of facial resonance gives your voice that sheen and presence. It's not about raising the EQ on the mixer. It's about, or the graphic EQ or parametric EQ or whatever it is. It's about learning how to resonate properly. I'm not scared, no. Now you can really hear on the no. I'm not scared, no. I'm exaggerating that a little bit, but I'm not scared. I'm not scared. And he's straight. Yeah, I'm using vibrato there. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. he actually breaths that up there a little bit.
I'm not scared.
Scared, no. But at the very beginning of that no, we have that we have to make sure we're relaxed enough to feel that resonance, if only for a little split second, so that we're placing our voice correctly. Now, that articulation that he does,
I'm not scared.
Scared, no, I'm not scared, no. Really, really fun to walk down air. That's fun to try with your voice. I do have a course that covers how to be more flexible and articulate and agile with your voice. It's a big deal to do that, but it really involves constant support. If I were to summarize it all, we're not pushing differently with each one of those notes. Support is constant to allow the repositioning of our chords to happen with constant support. A lot of people approach that wrong, and scared. You hear that, I can't hit the pitches well, and there's this level of bounciness and tension here that doesn't work, as opposed to I'm not scared, no. There's this constant that happens and this accuracy that's able to happen because we're pushing here and relaxed here, which you hear all over Chris Daughtry's voice. Next.
I wanna float here in your...
Here, arms is the last word there. Here, we step up the observation of that wonderful facial resonance as we're in our lower chest voice.
I wanna float here.
I wanna float here in your arms. I wanna float here. I wanna float. On float, he actually lightens up, which I love that. I wanna float here in your arms. I wanna float here in your arms. This is almost therapeutic for me to feel my face vibrating and getting that resonance up towards this while I'm pushing a fair amount here. If I were to push less and not utilize my support, I wanna float here in your arms, it's just not the same. We've got to use enough support, even though it's the same volume, hold back a little bit of air. This is not hypercompression. This is a little bit of compression, moderating airflow and focusing on resonance. I wanna float here in your arms. So good. Next. Another example of that open, he's not saying, you. It's very much, you. And approaching that higher note, I got over you. Yeah, I got over you. There's this very well-supported chest, and he's accessing a little bit of mix, but it's very, very subtle. He's accessing mix, maybe without even thinking about it so much, due to the amount of hypercompression he's using on that first note. There's definitely grit there. And everything else is very clean. And I got over you. Only grit on that first note. And be able to be straight, or put vibrato in there if you want. Play with these lines once you get the general feel. And I got over you. Yeah, I got over you. What would it sound like to do more of a you and ooh there? And I got over you. Play with it. Next.
Back to the place where I belong.
To the place where I belong. It's tempting with examples like this to, when we want to get that warm sound that he's getting, to try to cup the back of our tongue. Yeah.
Back to the place.
To the place where I play. Hear that? That's not what he's doing.
Back to the place where
It might sound sort of like that, but when we go to try to imitate that by cupping the back of our tongue, we are really working against ourselves. To the place where I belong. We create this tension back there and this sort of roadblock to true resonance. When in actuality, he's placing things very forward and using his support with a little bit of compression to get in an open throat and a relaxed tongue, certainly the back of his tongue, to let his voice happen. When we try to make our voice do this, we end up with lots of tension. But just try it. I mean, I can sing this both ways.
back to the place where
To the place where I belong. One sounds pretentious and imitative, and one sounds free. To the place where I belong. Or, to the place where I belong. To the place where I belong. One of them is much more forward, interacts with the mic much better, and I think that a lot of people, when they're trying to sing in this style, in that resonant chest, semi-aggressive sound, tend to try to do it with their tongue. And I think Eddie Vedder had a part in that early on, where he's not doing that either, by the way. But people hear it and internalize it incorrectly, and then you have a whole bunch of people singing with a closed throat, and it's might as well be kind of a strangled duck sort of sound. And then your jaw, Austin Powers kind of sound. Not cool. Speaking of Eddie Vedder, check out the Sing Like video I did on him. And again, if you want to take this stuff to another level and understand how it works on a more foundational basis, be sure to join my free vocal course linked below. Let me know other artists, other singers you'd like me to cover, and we'll see you for more.